Hello, I'm back at it again while the tea is still hot. Sorry I'm in cosplay. This is just what happens when you're like Dungeons and Dragons and cosplay channel. You have D&D videos with me in cosplay. I swear I'm not going to make a billion videos about this because I already said part of my piece. Oh my god, I forgot to hold my mic. Because I already said part of my piece, and there are so many channels that are better at providing kind of immediate, in-depth reviews of everything that Wizards of the Coast is saying and other people are saying and all these leaks that are happening. But I've had a few thoughts in the only days since I actually posted my last video, and I just wanted to say something and kind of leave it at there. From here, I probably won't talk about the OGL anymore, but I might, who knows, I might walk it back, I might. What I want to talk about today is actually Wizards of the Coast's newest update. They're a working conversation about the open gaming license update. So I wanted to kind of read through it, go over some of my thoughts, and then leave you with this specific nugget of advice. Of course, it opens up with, "Hello, I'm Kyle Brink, the executive producer. It's my team that makes the game we all play." Or that we have played, but you lost a lot of us there. D&D has been a huge part of my life long before I worked at Wizards and will be for a long time after I'm done. My mission and that of the entire D&D team is to help bring everyone the creative joy and lifelong friendships that D&D has given us. These past days and weeks have been incredibly tough for everyone. As players, fans, and stewards of the game, we can't and we won't let things continue like this. I'm here today to talk about a path forward. First though, let me start with an apology. We are sorry we got it wrong. I am glad that they finally said at least that much. I mean, that automatically makes this better than their other statement with their very infamous "they won." And so did we. Our language and requirements in the draft OGL. It was not a draft. This has been said 1,000 times. We know it's not a draft. Please stop trying to spin things on us. We're disruptive to creators and not in support of our core values of protecting and cultivating an inclusive play environment and limiting the OGL to TTRPGs. Then we compounded things by being silent for too long. True. We hear fans and creators when more frequent and clear communications could have prevented so much. Starting now, we're going to do this a better way, more open and transparent with our entire community of creators, with the time to iterate, sorry, my contacts, hard to read, to give feedback to improve. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's how we do it for the game itself, so let's do it that way for the OGL too. We'll listen to you and then we will share with you what we've heard, much like we do in our Unearthed Arcana and 1D&D playtests. This will be a robust conversation before we release any future versions of the OGL. Here's the thing, right? They're already pretending that's what they did in the first place. They were pretending it was a draft they sent to people to get their feedback. So in a roundabout way, you're kind of admitting you weren't asking for feedback the first way by saying, we're doing this a new, better way, asking for feedback. Because we all know you weren't asking for feedback in the first place. What to expect. On or before Friday, January 20th, we will post a new proposed OGL documentation for your review and feedback, much as we do with playtest materials. After you review the proposed OGL, you will be able to fill out a quick survey, much like Unearthed Arcana playtest feedback surveys. It will ask you specific questions about the document and include open form fields to share any other feedback you have. This survey will remain open for at least 2 weeks and will give you advance notice before it closes so that everyone who wants to participate can complete the survey. Then we will compile, analyze, react to, and present what we heard from you. I think if you want to fill out the survey, you should. Of course, don't say anything nasty about the people working there, that's a given, but if you feel strongly about the OGL and you would feel better filling out the survey, I think you should, and I think it's worth a shot. But it is possible that the reason they are having this survey is so you move all your feelings about the OGL and all your feedback and all your aggression to the survey, instead of posting about it, telling people about it, making videos about it, leaving comments on other people's videos and not sharing those. It's also good to have some hope, right? It is good to have some hope that maybe because of what had happened, some of them actually will listen. But the reason I'm skeptical of it, and a lot of people are, aside from what has come out about them not necessarily caring about surveys, is just that they already know what we want. They're like asking for our feedback, but they have already gotten that feedback, and they actually mentioned that in their other statement where they were like, send us to creators to get feedback, and we got feedback from you all, or oh boy did we. Well, obviously I am changing the wording there a little bit, but the consistent thing, and they know this, is that we just want the old OGL to be left alone. So it seems very weird for them to be like, here's this thing where we can finally get your feedback amid controversy that they don't even listen to the feedback when they already know what the issue is. That's why I'm just a little suspicious of it. Of course, there is no harm in filling it out if it would make you feel better and you know you do have things to say, but please don't fill it out and then stop talking about in other avenues, because I think that is what they're hoping, that everyone will direct it there, so that overall the news about it will spread less. I think we really have to keep the pressure on to keep getting positive improvements. I mean, this statement is better than the first one, so if we keep the pressure on, hopefully things will start getting better and better. I know that might be a little optimistic, but I do want to have a little bit of hope. So after that, they say, finally, you deserve some stability and clarity. We are committed to giving creators both input into and room to prepare for any update to the OGL. Room to prepare for, it sounds a bit threatening, but maybe I'm being nitpicky here. Also, there's a ton of stuff that isn't going to be affected by an OGL update, so today, right now, we'll lay out all the areas that this conversation won't touch. I know there is some misinformation out there, but it feels like this whole end bit is just them kind of being like, see, y'all are overreacting a bit, like, what we're doing isn't that bad because it doesn't touch all this stuff. It feels like they're trying to like be like, okay, we're doing this, but look, you still have this. It feels kind of like a cheap way to cover their butts, so to speak. That part actually kind of rubbed me the wrong way because that wasn't stuff we were worried about. I'll read some of them off. I'm not gonna read this so specifically because, I mean, no one was worried about this stuff, or at least not nearly as many people. Your video content, this applies to commenters, streamers, podcasters, live cast play members, you know, things like that. They will be affected though, because lots of D&D YouTubers are sponsored by third-party publishers, because if they have sponsors pulling out for them, they might not be able to afford to keep making YouTube videos at the same length, the same quality, the same frequency as they used to be able to. A lot of people want to move away from just D&D content in general, so this whole thing, even if it doesn't technically affect them, it still does. And they continue with your accessories for your owned content. Yeah, if they're your creations and characters, why would it affect it anyways? Non-published works, for instance, contracted services. VTT content, any updates to the OGL will still allow any creator to publish content or VTTs, and will still allow VTT publishers to use OGL content on their platform. That honestly surprised me a little bit. We'll see what happens, because I know they're gonna try and come for VTTs with their 1D&D. We'll see about that one. DM's Guild content. DM's Guild already had kind of a bad deal there, so your OGL 1.0A content, nothing will impact any content you have published under OGL 1.0A. They will always be licensed under OGL 1.0A. That's good to know, because some people were worried about stuff they already published, like how will that work going forwards, but it still doesn't clearly say that the old OGL 1.A is irrevocable. And this is an important distinction to make here, because there is a difference between saying stuff you already published under the old OGL 1.0A will be fine, and you can continue publishing things under that old OGL. Unless the old OGL is protected, people's future livelihoods are still at stake. That is still a problem. Your revenue. There will be no royalty or financial reporting requirements. That's at least good, because they were taking a huge chunk, especially because revenue is different from profit. Your ownership of your content. You will continue to own your content with no license back requirements. That's all from me now. You will hear from us on or before Friday as described above, and we look forward to the conversation. Kyle Brink. I will say it's better. They apologized. They admitted some of their wrongdoings. They were still insistent it was a draft. There's still some problems because we don't have very clear-cut language about the old OGL being irrevocable. We did get some assurance that, you know, past stuff published under it will be fine, and also that they are not going to be touching the revenue. It is okay to be hopeful, but just because something is better doesn't mean you have to accept it yet. Just because something is better doesn't mean you should give up. Because clearly we're having an effect if they are already changing some stuff, right? So if we keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, we can get more and more and more of what the community wants and what the community needs. They want us to give up. They want us to get tired. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are tired about hearing the OGL and all the horrible things and just how much the companies you put so much into just don't care about you. It's hurtful. It's hard to see. And I kind of obviously miss the way things were like a month ago when I could just watch all my favorite D&D YouTubers and skits and advice videos and be excited about D&D content and not feel so just down and bad about it all. We have to keep it up, keep doing hashtag open D&D, hashtag D&D be gone, canceling our D&D Beyond subscriptions, and just making videos and making our voices heard and getting it out there, because the more we keep talking about it, the more likely it is that we're going to wind up in a situation that is better for the community. If we just give up now, like, this is what we're getting, and this is still not acceptable. I just wanted to basically leave you with the reminder that it is not the time to give up. Please go out there and support all your favorite tabletop role players, all their small businesses. Please look out for them. They're having a very hard time right now. Watch their videos, like their stuff, buy something from them if you can afford to, and also please do not shame people who continue making Dungeons and Dragons content. For a lot of them, this is their livelihood. They can't back out of it super easily, and for a lot of people, you know, they love and cherish the game. It's something that means a lot to them. I think we should all take some time to learn about other systems so that D&D doesn't have quite such a monopoly, and, you know, give other systems a chance. It is also okay if you just really love D&D and you just genuinely don't really want to play much else besides it. I think it's okay. It's okay if D&D is your love and you want to keep playing it and making content for it. It's okay. Just please be cognizant where you are putting your money. Thank you for watching, my precious everyone. I'm sorry if I seem like tired and spacey in this video. It was like probably a bad idea for me to film this after streaming, and I'm going to go to bed in like 10 minutes and I took melatonin. But I wanted to get this out there because obviously I posted my other video like 4 days ago. News is breaking all the time.
Hello everyone, as always, I have let a few hours pass and I'm behind on the latest OGL news. I don't want to go deep in depth. Honestly, I would really recommend the Dungeon Delver if you want like the actual information, because he is very up to date and where a lot of what I'm getting is coming from. I mentioned earlier in the video that they are planning on releasing a new draft of the OGL, which is OGL 1.2, and they have released the document for that, and Kyle Brink also posted another update, which I'm not going to go over in depth like I did the first apology from Wizards of the Coast, but the main point that I want to talk about is that it is trying to deauthorize 1.0a. That continually is the main problem. They really seem to be trying to hit it home that they really need this new version to help address hateful content, but from what I've seen before, hateful content already wasn't allowed. Also, it didn't really seem to be a huge problem to begin with like third parties creating very hateful, weird content. That didn't really seem to be an issue, and also Wizards of the Coast sometimes has problems with that themselves, so like maybe they should check themselves. Of course, it is important to address hateful content and make sure that it can't be allowed, but from what I've seen from various lawyers and YouTubers, it really did seem like that kind of stuff already was not allowed. From first glance and from what I watched, it doesn't necessarily seem to be horrible. They're not taking money out of your revenue and things like that anymore. This is what'll give you access to the more D&D like things, like some of their spells and monsters, and classes kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm sorry, but Wizard? I don't know why D&D is trying to act like they have very unique classes. Like, maybe Artificer. The more unique ones I'm thinking of would be Blood Hunter, which was created by Matt Mercer. So I don't really know what they're trying to do with the classes stuff there. It seems a little self-serving. I'm going to include a link to Kyle Brink's post, and then I'm also going to include a link to the actual draft so you guys can read it at your leisure. I just want to reiterate something for you guys though. If you would like to read the draft and leave your feedback in the survey, be sure to do that because supposedly they do actually listen to the feedback and it couldn't hurt, but please make sure that you are not only leaving your thoughts on the survey because that is what they are hoping to do, hoping to get everything there and then get it off social media and off all these platforms so the whole thing dies down. As a whole, it is perfectly okay and acceptable to fill out the survey, and in fact, I feel like you probably should do that so you can make your feelings known to them, even though they already kind of know our feelings in the first place. But make sure if you're doing that, you're not doing just that and giving up spreading news on other platforms, because that's really what is important and going to keep helping us get more and more and more of what we want as a community. I felt like it was my duty as someone who has posted like D&D related videos. My channel is about cosplay and D&D and often about the overlap between them. I talk a lot about my D&D characters that I cosplay, so it felt like this fell into my wheelhouse and is something that I should talk about. But there are so many fantastic people out there who are doing a way better job kind of going over this. I am very, very happy all the new people who joined me here, but I want to make sure that you guys know my channel is primarily about entertainment and chill vibes and good times. So I also don't want to mislead people by posting all these OGL update videos, and I'd like to get to know everyone who is new to my channel and let you get to know me and see the other stuff I'm working on. I am so proud of us as a community, and I'm very happy to see even non-D&D players who play other TTRPGs kind of pitching in and supporting us and speaking out about it and helping a lot of people transition away from D&D. Whatever your relationship with D&D is going to be in the future, it's perfectly fine if you never want to play D&D again. It is perfectly fine if you still love D&D and are only going to be playing D&D in the future, and it is perfectly fine if there's some combination with that, with you switching to other systems or doing some D&D, some other things. It's not my business. Just make sure you are having fun and do not give Wizards of the Coast any more money because it is undermining our message every dollar that we give them. So thank you so much. Please take care of yourself. Please stay informed, but it's okay to take breaks. I know it's very overwhelming and very heartbreaking for a lot of people. It's okay if this is really hitting you hard, even if it doesn't seem to directly affect you. I see you. I'm here for you. Please take care of yourself. This community is really, really hurting, and I hope everyone is just gentle with themselves. So thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!